welcome back to the review realm. It's Sienna, and today I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on Disney's newest film, Mufasa: The Lion King, which I saw last night. The first part of this video is going to be non-spoilers, and then I'll get into the spoiler section, and I'll let you know once I do. So let's get into it. So overall, Mufasa I thought was an okay film. It's everything you expected it to be. There was no curveballs while I was in the movie theater. And one thing I think that really hurts this film is it's a prequel. You know how it's going to end. At the end of the day, you know everything that happens in Lion King. So what happens in Mufasa isn't that big of a shocker. So that really, I feel like, diminishes the climax of this film. It doesn't feel as big as it should be. So Lin-Manuel Miranda, he did the music for this film. He's best known for doing Encanto. He did the music for the first Moana and obviously the musical Hamilton and In the Heights. And the music wasn't bad by any means. It was good music, but it just wasn't everything you're expecting it to be, especially The Lion King, which is a high bar. To meet the music from The Lion King, you have to do something. All the stars have to align, I admit that. But the truth is, that's what this audience is going in there. They're expecting to have some hits, have really catchy songs. And while the songs were good, none of them were memorable. I saw this film less than 24 hours ago, and I couldn't tell you one song, couldn't even tell you a line, when typically I could. All I remember is, bye-bye, that line, and that's about it. And that's something I think that this film really struggles with, just because it is CGI, which the CGI looked really good. They did a good job, just like the live-action Lion King that was released a couple years ago. But during the musical numbers, there's only so much you can do, just because it is live action, it is CG, and being that realistic take that these live actions do, it's really hard with The Lion King because you can't have those over-the-top musical numbers which sort of help. Let's think back to Aladdin, that live action film, because you have the character Genie and you have these different sets, you can do all these big colorful numbers, where with animals it would be kind of weird if they're dancing, so they just walk around, and sometimes they interact with the setting of where they are, but I just think the walking around, it makes it feel like those musical numbers are dragging on. It's like, oh my gosh, when are we going to move on? When is this going to go? So that is one thing I thought really hurt this film. The runtime, it's less than 2 hours, but it felt like over 2 hours. I did 2 showings last night. I did Mufasa and Sonic 3, and Mufasa, I was like, oh my gosh, is this ever going to end? Let's wrap it up. And then there is a lot of, I guess, since it is a prequel, foreshadowing for The Lion King. And at first it's cool because they're doing callbacks, but then it's like, after the first one, it's like, we're doing this again, So that is one thing. So I'm now going to get into my spoiler section of this review. And with Mufasa and Scar, their dynamic, they're brothers. So Mufasa, he gets swept down a river, he loses his parents, and he ends up joining Scar's, I guess, tribe. I don't know the technical name. I forgot. Airhead. Anyway, so they join in, I guess their brothers are around the same age, but Scar's father, who is the king, he doesn't like bringing in strays, and he doesn't like Mufasa, and Mufasa is raised by the women. And so they are basically brothers, and then they go on this journey because they are being tracked down by these other lions who want to control all the lions. And so they killed Scar's whole tribe, and then it just feels like Scar's intention of becoming bad, it just seemed like a very fast bait and switch. It's like, okay, they're brothers, but then Mufasa steals his girl, and then it's like, no, we're not brothers. you know, like, let me kill you. But I don't know if it's because I'm close with my sister, but that just seems, and obviously they aren't blood related, which they do mention that in the movie, that, oh, Mufasa was always going to betray Scar, and da-da-da-da, and it does come for fruition. So it just seems very fast and abrupt. And then this film is also, it's being told to them, and Pumbaa and them are there as a comedic relief, but it goes to present time to then back to Mufasa, and it switches. And I think it is a good plot device to go help move the story along, because you don't need to necessarily explain how they get to point A to point B. It's just like, oh, this adds some comedic relief, and now they're at point B, and we're continuing with this story. But after a while, it's like they do it, and going back to what Pumbaa and them say, it serves no purpose. I think you could have done it a little less. One, that would help the runtime, and two, it would just help the story keep going. And this story, what takes it away is, you know how it's going to end. It's your typical hero's journey. The best part of the film was when they made it out to James Earl Jones in the beginning of the film, which I'm really glad they did that. But this film was just okay. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great either, and I don't know if it's gonna really do that well for Disney. I mean, Lion King did really well, the live action one, for them in the box office. I just don't really see this one doing as well as the original live action Lion King. And it's also competing with Sonic 3. For the Lion King, I had around 15 people in my theater. For Sonic, it was practically sold out. So I don't know. Monday, I'm really curious to see the numbers, since they are competing with each other, two kids' movies, both from previous franchises. It's going to be super interesting, but let me know down in the comment section below if you have seen Mufasa, and if you're going to, if you haven't. Have a good day. Bye!